What you are about to hear is the kind of story that sounds like it belongs in a movie. But I lived every moment of it. A life built on secrets, a love built on lies, and a truth so shocking it could destroy everything. If I could turn back time, would I do things differently? I don't know. But I do know one thing. Choices have consequences, and no matter how deep you bury the past, one day it will rise again. I was an orphan. No family, no safety net, just me against the world. The only person I had was my boyfriend. He was my everything, my only source of love and protection. But he was also a criminal, involved in gangs and drug trafficking. I knew his lifestyle was dangerous, but I never thought it would catch up to him so soon. One day, his luck ran out. He was arrested and sentenced to 10 years in prison. I was shattered, alone, helpless. Then something happened that changed everything. I started feeling sick. Nausea, dizziness, weakness. At first I thought it was depression, the stress of losing him. But when it didn't stop, I took a pregnancy test. Positive. I couldn't believe it. I was pregnant. The shock hit me like a wave. How was I going to raise a child when I could barely take care of myself? I visited my boyfriend in prison and told him the news. To my surprise, he was happy. He told me to keep the baby, to be strong for both of them. I didn't want to. I was broke, alone, and terrified. But he convinced me. He said this baby was a blessing, a part of him that would be waiting for him when he got out. Against my better judgment, I decided to keep it. Weeks passed, and loneliness crept in. I missed being held, touched, loved. One night, I confessed my feelings to my boyfriend over the phone. He comforted me, but reminded me that he wouldn't be out for another 10 years. But what he said next shocked me. He told me, "You can meet other men to satisfy yourself, but you'll always be mine." He even had a plan. He directed me to a stash of money he had hidden and told me to fix myself, to make my body more appealing so I could attract men who would spend on me. His words disgusted me, but I was desperate. I had no job, no help, and no other options. I did what he suggested. I got a BBL, veneers, and even created an OnlyFans account. But it wasn't enough. Then, fate brought someone new into my life. At a supermarket, I met a man who seemed like an angel sent to save me. He was tall, good-looking, well-dressed, kind, and above all, wealthy. He paid for my groceries without hesitation. When he offered to drop me home, I hesitated, but accepted. We exchanged numbers, and that night, I told my boyfriend about him. He was happy. He told me to accept if the man asked me to be his woman, but warned me never to mention him or the pregnancy. No man wants to deal with a woman who's already taken and carrying another man's child, he said. I saw reason in his words and agreed. A week later, the man asked me to be his woman. I accepted. On our second date, we made love. 3 weeks later, I told him I was pregnant. He was overjoyed. A month later, we got married. Just like that, my life changed. I had a home, a husband, and stability. But I was living a lie. 2 years later, my boyfriend was released on probation. He called me the moment he was out. My heart raced. I told my husband I was visiting my sick foster mother, but in reality, I went to pick up my boyfriend, from prison, with my 1-year-old son. For a week, we stayed in a hotel, and I watched as my boyfriend bonded with his son. They looked so much alike. When the week ended, I went back home as if nothing had happened. Weeks later, I found out I was pregnant again. This time, I had no idea who the father was. My husband, my boyfriend. I was playing with fire, but I had to continue the lie. Over the years, we had 4 sons. My husband loved them. My boyfriend, always in the shadows, knew they were his. Everything seemed perfect, until it wasn't. One day, one of my sons fell ill. He was diagnosed with leukemia and needed a bone marrow transplant. We all got tested, and that was when the nightmare began. His DNA didn't match my husband's. I pretended to be shocked, to act like I didn't know what was happening. But deep down, I knew. The truth was unraveling. My husband ordered DNA tests for all the boys. The results came in. None of them were his. I braced myself for the storm. I expected rage. I expected him to break things, to throw me down from a building. But he didn't. Instead, he looked at me and said, "Drop the act. I've known from the beginning that none of them are mine. I've always known." I froze. "What do you mean?" I asked. He sighed. "I knew from the start that I never got you pregnant." My heart pounded. "How?" "What do you mean? We had unprotected sex for years," I asked. His next words shook me to my core. "Because I can't have children," he said. "A drug I took to boost my sexual performance destroyed my ability to father a child. I never told you because I didn't want to lose you. I didn't want you to leave me like all the other women before you." I felt my knees go weak. I then asked him why he is not asking who their biological father is. He chuckled and said, "Because it didn't matter. I raised them. I loved them from the moment they were in your womb. They are my sons, and that's all that matters. And nothing will change that." Tears streamed down my face. "I'm so sorry," I whispered. He smiled sadly. "I should be angry, but I can't. You gave me the greatest gift of all, being a father. And for that, I will always be grateful." He forgave me and thanked me for giving him a family. It became our secret, and we decided to keep it from the boys. But secrets never stay buried forever. Days later, I told my boyfriend about everything. His response was unexpected. He said since the secret is out, there's no need to hide anymore. He said he's coming to claim children. He never married, never had other kids. My sons were his only blood, and he wanted them. The boys are all grown. My first son is 27, the second is 25, the third is 24, and the fourth is 18 years old. Just when I thought the worst was over, life threw another bombshell my way. One evening, my husband came home holding a letter in his hands. His face was unreadable, but I could see something was wrong. He handed me the envelope without saying a word. My heart pounded as I opened it. The moment my eyes landed on the first few words, my hands started shaking. It was from the court. My boyfriend had sued my husband to claim his children. But this is just the beginning. The court case is about to change everything. Will my husband fight for the children he raised, or will my boyfriend take them away? And what about my sons? How will they react when they find out the truth? This story is far from over. Watch out for the continuation, because things are about to take an unexpected turn.